welcome back to the Spotlight. As promised, we've got comedian James Craven live in studio. James, take it away.
Hey, thanks, Nick.
No problem.
Sweet, it's my time. Yeah, I came here, and I told my kids that I was going to be on TV, and my 14-year-old daughter, God bless her heart, says, why is that when you have a face for radio? So that was awfully nice of her to say. If you're going to have kids, have them. It's awesome. But I got to warn you, there's some things in life, that just goes on with kids. Let me tell you something. If a 5-year-old tells you you're fat and ugly, chances are you're fat and ugly. That's how I found out I was getting fat. My little 5-year-old sitting in my lap, poking me in my belly, and he goes, hey, Daddy, when's that baby coming out? I go, dude, daddies don't have babies. So he says, so you're just fat? I got to thinking and realized maybe he's right. So I went and looked in the mirror, come to realize this is no longer a beard. It's just a barricade to separate my face from my neck. Yeah, check this out. I got Pillsbury Doughboy tattoo on my arm right there. Yeah, check that out. Swear to God, that started out as a skeleton. If you guys, or especially you ladies, if you're going to get a tattoo, you better be very careful of what you get and where you get it. Because me and my son were walking through Walmart, and we saw this beautiful 20-year-old something woman who had this beautiful butterfly tattoo going across her chest. And I had to stop and tell her, in about 30 years, that's going to look like a moth that hit a windshield. Kids are awesome. No, you see this nice Father of the Year shirt here, right here and here? I'm going for Father of the Year right now. I got a nice little show that's online for it, but I'm going for Father of the Year. I'm going to grab that brass ring and get it, and I'll tell you why. I go back to my 14-year-old daughter who came to me from school the other day. She goes, Dad, I got this problem at school. I got this girl who's being really mean to me. She's really, and she's bragging about things that she has at home that I don't have. She goes, and I'm kind of tired of hearing it. She goes, and since you're a comedian and kind of mean to people, she goes, I figured you could give me some advice. I go, well, I can, honey. I said, but it's up to you if you want to use it or not. She goes, give it to me, Dad. I need something to shut this girl up. I go, all right. So the next time this girl's bragging about things that she has at home that you don't have, just tell her you got one thing at home that she doesn't. She looks at me, she goes, what, Dad? We ain't got nothing. I go, that's not true. I said, you got one thing at home and she doesn't. She says, what? I go, a father. I said, if Dad doesn't make her cry, just tell her she's the reason why her daddy left. And that's why I'm going for Father of the Year right there. But, that's been my time. I'll tell you, kids are fun. Check out Father of the Year. We're on YouTube at youtube.com. I am Father of the Year. Check us out on there, and I'll throw it back to Nick. So that's been my time. It's been a lot of fun.
All right, thanks a lot. James, why don't you go ahead, have a seat here.
Sure.
Very funny stuff. So kids, you don't hear a lot of people actually recommend having kids, and you seem to be having the time of your life with them, huh?
I absolutely adore my kids. If there's one thing I would ever do over in life was make sure I had them again. Okay. They're the apple of my eye. They make doing comedy easier because they write stuff for me and they don't even know it. So, and that's a lot of fun because with having teenage kids, I have a 14-year-old and a 13-year-old, and they're awesome. They absolutely are me but smaller.
Okay, and that's we were kind of talking about this off stage, but the reason you like having kids is because you can basically see yourselves in them, and there's nothing that they can do to you that you haven't tried already.
No, that's one thing I've told them. I said, there's nothing you can do that's going to absolutely shock me or amaze me or you're going to get past me. But, life has a way, and they still try, and occasionally they succeed, but most of the time, fail.
Fail. Now tell me a little bit about this Father of the Year stuff. I've seen a little bit of it, and just talking to you about it, I know you're really excited about it.
I am really excited about it. It's a new web series that we have online. It's based off my material that I do on stage, and a good friend of mine, Vince Smith, who is our director and producer of the show. Okay. When he saw me on stage for the first time, and then we started talking more and more. He's like, this is your hook. This is your thing, because you talk about your kids so much, the Father of the Year stuff. And we have our first episode right now. It's called Fatherly Advice, where most parents wouldn't give the advice that I give my kids, but they're my kids, and I wouldn't talk to anybody else's kids that way, right? Unless they're at my house.
Unless they deserved it.
Unless they deserved it.
Okay, now tell me a little bit about kind of how you started getting into comedy. Was it just because I hear a lot, oh, you're so funny, you should be a stand-up comedian. And then some people are crazy enough to actually believe that and try it out. Were you one of those people, or did you kind of have in your mind, I think I want to do comedy. I might be able to do this.
When I was 18 years old, I wanted to start doing stand-up comedy.
Okay.
And then I went to college. And the craziest thing is, the craziest thing, and you know what made me drop out of college? Public speaking.
Okay.
I had to take a speech class, and I couldn't do it, and I dropped out of college. So I waited for almost 14 years, and I didn't start doing stand-up comedy until I was 32 years old, which I'm kind of thankful that I did, because then I had life experience behind me. But at that time, I had 3 kids. I had been married for a while. I've seen life, so it was making it that much easier to make fun of.
All right, and tell me about some of these life experiences. I know, do you use that a lot in your routine? Because we were talking about, some of the greater routines that you can see, the Bill Cosby himself and stuff like that, where basically that's all his material is just life experience. Is that the majority of your?
That is the majority of it.
Okay.
I see a lot of young guys starting out, 18, 19 years old. They don't have a lot of life experience behind them. You can see them kind of making stuff up as they go along.
Okay.
Where mine is definitely based off my life. I mean, it's what I do. I mean, with the kids and being married, and even before that with dating and stuff like that. I mean, I touched on a small bit with my routine there, but a lot of it is based off of that. I mean, I've experienced a lot in life with just up to the point of being married, up to the point of doing comedy.
Okay.
And and then even then some. I mean, every day is something new.
Very nice.
With the Father of the Year stuff, that was something that just kind of took off. I mean, I would have never thought that that's something that would have came to fruition.
Right.
But it did, and I'm so thankful that it did. And my 13-year-old son, Alex, is the star of the show, really, because he gets all the great punchlines. I set it up for him, so he makes fun of me, but that's how real life is. I mean, my kids make fun of me on a daily basis. It's just how it goes, and I accept that. But so it's been fun. It's been a fun journey.
That's cool. And I know, you're working really hard on the Father of the Year stuff, and I also know that you're planning on writing a book or kind of starting.
Yeah, I'm starting the process of writing a book. I talk about my 13-year-old son, Alex, and my 14-year-old daughter mostly, but my son, Alex, it was the hardest day of my life, was back in April 4th, Monday, April 4th, 2011, he was diagnosed with cancer.
Okay.
So the book is based off of what we went through as far as my feelings of how I felt, because when that happens, there's no script to it. There's no book to it. There's nobody to tell you how to do it. But I did learn I couldn't show my actions in front of him. I had to kind of keep them behind closed doors. So why did I start keeping a chronicle of how I felt and how things were going? But it also kept family, what's going on. But right now, he's doing awesome. He's technically in remission, so he gets to be the star of his show. His hair's grown back.
Round of applause for that. Very cool. Very cool.
So that's what that's all based off of. But yeah, it's an amazing journey.
Well, that's awesome. And again, a lot of the things that you were talking about as far as, the comedy sense of things that are coming on, obviously, you have to live life too, and things like that happen, and to be able to go on and, do what you do, making people laugh while you have some stuff going on at home. I mean, that just really shows a lot of character on your part. Thank you for taking time out of your life to do stuff like that.
I have to say, if it wasn't for having a sense of humor, we probably wouldn't have gotten through it as well as we did. I mean, a lot of jokes came out of it. One of the favorite stories I love to tell when I'm on stage was the first week that Alex was in the hospital. I looked at him, and we were down at Children's Hospital, great hospital.
Okay.
Great hospital, great nursing staff, just not the greatest to look at.
Okay.
So I turned to him and I go, I don't know what kind of insurance we have to have good-looking nurses. And he goes, I don't know either. He says, but I think we need better insurance.
I think we need the good stuff. Move it up from the bronze to the gold, Dad.
Right,
Come
exactly.
On,
it's like, pay up, pony up here, Dad. So, but his sense of humor has been great. Our sense of humor has been great about it, because we have to, it's what gets us through. I mean, like I said, my kids are the biggest part of my life. Next to being married, having them is probably the biggest part of it, and having their support behind everything, and just them being able to cope with it. I mean, the sense of humor has got us through so much, and I can't express that enough. If you don't have a funny bone, I don't know how you even eat dinner, because you can't bend your arm.
Right.
So
exactly, and comedy is, growing up, I grew up in a big, Italian family. We had 6 kids, so I grew up with 2 older brothers, 3 younger sisters.
6 kids?
Yeah, so we drove ourselves crazy, and if we couldn't laugh, I don't know what we would be able to do.
6 kids.
We would just fight
Your parents didn't have much of a hobby, did they?
No, not really. Unfortunately. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's. But big Italian family. I mean, what
Exactly.
else
That's
you
why I talk with my hands. We actually had a fan up
Yeah.
there recently, and he knows who he is, and yeah, we all know who you are. He mentioned that I talk with my hands too much. I do this and I do that a little bit. I told him, look, I'm Sicilian. I can do that. I'm the only person who can get away with that. Now forget about it.
My dad's
Brushed
Italian.
him off.
My dad's Italian. My whole job when I was a kid was sitting next to him. So that way I was the one taking the brunt of when he was talking and he's swinging across.
Right, you
and
got to stay out of the way.
You got,
of the
yeah,
spit
you
and
learn
the way of
real
the
quick.
hands.
You learn real quick how to move your head. Like, yeah, that's funny, Dad, and not get smacked.
Very
But,
cool.
yeah.
And now tell us, I know we can find you on Facebook.
You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com with / Craven Comedy. You can find Father of the Year on there as well with Father of the Year / Father of the Year.
And then Vimeo. site?
Vimeo, we're on there at Father of the Year on Vimeo. And YouTube is a little different because somebody decided to be Father of the Year and they didn't realize I had the shirt. So on YouTube, we are youtube.com. I am Father of the Year, just so we can put that in their face.
All right, well, there you go. Father of the Year, James Craven, stand-up comedian right here on the Spotlight. Stick around, there's more Spotlight coming right up.
Coming up next, Becca gives us the word. Coming up later, a musical performance by Rival Summers. Stick around, the Spotlight will be right back.